welcome back to another video. And today I'm gonna be doing a big review, mega review on all of my customs. As you might know, earlier this year I did like 8 episodes of custom reviews, but reviews aren't really my thing, so I decided to stop making them. Instead, I'm gonna be doing one big review on all of them. And whenever I make new customs, like a couple at once, or like maybe a few individual over the course of a few weeks, then I'll just make a video on those. So I'm gonna be doing another update thing, kind of like the monthly haul thing, but not a monthly thing, just whenever I make customs. Yeah, I kind of sorted it into sections. First we have the character variants and the plane thing, then all of the racers, beginning with YouTubers, Blackfires, World Grand Prix based customs, those guys, Piston Cup racers, and then the rest of the cars. So yeah, and I also wanted to mention, I do have a few more customs which are which I'm not showing here. I'm not going to show those in any videos because I'm keeping them back for a future project. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much about them. So yeah, let's start with the first character variant. We got Police Mcqueen. I made this from a Cruising Mcqueen, previously called, that was Ryan Hassan Reviews, I believe. After the YouTuber Cup was over, I repainted a whole bunch of YouTubers. Out of the 11, I believe I repainted like 8 out of the 11 that I had at the time. I had 12, but 11 of them were in the YouTuber Cup. But yeah, I repainted him into Police Mcqueen because Cruising Mcqueen, I couldn't use him for what I use most of my spare Mcqueens for, but I decided like, I don't make a Police Mcqueen. This is not based on the one from Private Eye Mater. This is its own separate custom. Looks pretty cool. Maybe I should paint some red lights here. Also, yeah, the reason I made him wasn't because I was planning on using him in Cars Universe. Like, I just made it because I didn't know what else to do with a Cruising Mcqueen. So yeah, I could use him as like a different police character if I wanted to, but nah, I'm just gonna keep him for now. Who knows? Maybe I'll use him for something later. Next custom is from Cars Universe Season 4. Only in Season 4, I believe. Season 5 as well, but mainly Season 4. The King in Disguise. This is the paint job the king takes when he goes to visit his wife. He wanted to do this because he didn't want to be recognized. Of course, he kind of failed to do that, but yeah, interesting colors, red and green. I don't think I'll use this car for anything else unless the king has to go in hiding again, but I don't think so because For the Lost are kind of gone. So I'm probably just gonna keep him until I might need a king for another custom, or I could use him again. Then the next character variant, this is more customization off. This is Wingo without spoiler. Made this from a window that I had which had like a kind of molten spoiler, was kind of leaning to the side. So I removed the spoiler, still have it somewhere. And then I filmed the episode 9 of Season 1 from Cars Universe. And when I filmed that, I decided, why not just let Wingo's spoiler get removed so I can use this car a bit. And we can put a plot line about Wingo getting his spoiler back, maybe. Not in Season 6, maybe in Season 7, or Season 9, or Season 8. Depends. The next two cars, first we have Blue Fred. Yeah, I call him Blue Fred, but he's kind of like Fred when he is starting to get some rust here and there, but he is not like as rusty as he is in the movies. I don't know if you can tell, but I tried to remove all of the little dents and things to make him flat. Didn't really succeed. I did take a lot of those little bumps on him away, but not enough, not good enough. So I decided, like, what if I just make him like, he's not completely rusty, but he's kind of getting rusty, so I call him Blue Fred. And the last character variant, of course, his character himself is on a different body in the movie Cars 3. I used this for a movie itself. This is Tim Threatless. If you want to know everything about why he is this way, you're gonna have to watch Cars Tim Threatless. Movie that takes place in about most of the movie takes place in 2003 or 2004, one of those 2 years. Yeah, this is Tim Threatless. One of the 2 cars which I actually used paper decals for. The other one I did that was the other one with the same sponsor, which is in Next Gen, which we'll show later. Yeah, he looks pretty cool. I had planned this one for the longest time. I actually came up with the idea for the story for Cars Tim Threatless back in 2017. And then in 2018 I got a Connexler to repaint to this guy. And then it took me until 2020 to actually film the movie, but I needed other cars. And we're gonna move on to flying vehicles. First up we have 2 Blackfire planes, the first 2 Blackfire diecasts of the video. We got number 11, which is one of my most recent customs, and number 19, which I painted in last year. I don't know, personally I like this one more. That's just because the color is a bit flashy, and that is because the white I use for this one, so you might also be able to tell with the eyes. The white paint was a lot better. Look, the paint that I'm using for this one, also the black paint, yeah, it was kinda meh. And I also used white underneath these because otherwise they wouldn't stand out on the black. Yeah, this white and this black sucks, since this black and this white, I ran out of those, so I need to buy new paint, and these ones are just like temporary, and doesn't look too good. Besides that, I think most people would like this more. I like this more personally. Also because it's the first one I repainted. And then the other 2 flying vehicles, these also have to do with the same thing as the first 2 Blackfire planes and most Blackfire customs. I'm working on a movie trilogy, which the Blackfire cars are pretty important to that. So the first one is the Lego Guy Blimp. This is basically, this gray you see, this is the primer I always use. Most of my customs have primer, except for this guy and the graveyard cars. Oh yeah, and some of the other cars that I'm not showing, they also don't use primer. But yeah, this one is primer, and then green and blue. This is gonna be like, I'm not going to tell you guys anything about the story from the movies. I'm not going to tell you what kind of role they have. All I'm saying is that the colors are kind of army based. Not army, but army based. So, sorry for the cut there, guys. I just had to grab one more custom, which I almost forgot. But yeah, moving on to this plane. This is one that I recently got. I believe I showed them in the July haul, which was uploaded yesterday, not filmed yesterday, but uploaded yesterday. And he looks pretty good. I kind of based the design, the decals of these guys. The thing is, the primer I used for this was from that black and white replacements that I had. And of course those look terrible, so the primer doesn't look that good either. So underneath you can see all kinds of what that originally used to be Ned. Yeah, the top looks better, so yeah, he looks decent. Not my best custom, but you know, kind of fits the paint scheme. I'm gonna probably do more with this paint scheme. So those are all the flying vehicles. Now we're moving on to the racers, starting with the YouTuber racers. One of them is a Tim Threatless model, and the other 3 are all World Grand Prix Mcqueens. When I wanted to make customs next gens, I was actually like, I don't want to use World Grand Prix Mcqueens because they're not really next gens like these, and now I have 3 of them. But yeah, the first one is Aaron, based on World of Cars Entertainment. I used to call him Aaron's World of Cars, but now he's just Aaron because that name fits better. Pretty decent car. When I first made him, this was my best custom I had at the time. because I had only like been making customs for half a year now. I made like 5 or 6 before this one, and he looks really good, and he still is one of my better customs if you compare him to most of my customs. Definitely better than the other custom that I made before this. I made this one with like the first batch of customs that I made. The first batch of customs was like 3 cars, and then before that I had made 1 custom. Yeah, I made him together with 2 other ones, and I was still learning, so I just simple decals. I make them green with a couple white decals. I'm now better at making decals, I think, sometimes, not always. We'll take a look at one of my better customs later. So this is Shane, based off, I don't know what his name is at the moment. I believe it was like Skywalker Studios 2006 or something like that. At least, like, he keeps changing names. He used to be called Shane's Reviews. That's the SR. I just call him Shane since that's his real name. As standards, I made this for my original World Grand Prix Mcqueen. Next up, also made on a World Grand Prix Mcqueen, is Null, or Radiated Springs Network. This one is a lot better, since especially the decals that I really like. I like this branch and all the leaves and the 13 and organic. This is a hint at his spoiler, which is Fillmore. Yeah, he's all covered with leaves, and because yeah, he's a fan of. He's really with like nature things. He really wants to have nature goods, which most of us want, but he was really active with it for a time. Maybe he still is, but I don't know. Yeah, it's one of my favorite customs. Sadly, there's a bunch of chips here on the leaves and things, so I'm gonna have to do something about it soon. So he's gonna go with the Police Mcqueen for cars that need updates. And next up we have Crazy Cars Canada. This is a custom which I haven't shown on camera yet. Based off of the YouTuber Crazy Cars Canada. I don't exactly know where, but somewhere, yeah, I believe right there. As you might see, it's kind of a bit brighter. That's because this is also with the paint replacing paint that I used for a bunch of other cars. And the thing is, he got stuck to another custom which I was making, so I had to rip them apart, and then that cut a whole bunch of the primer away. Now I was ready to put and I didn't have any primer left, so yeah, that's only one thing. He's a pretty cool car. I haven't introduced him in Cars Universe yet, but I'm gonna find a way to introduce him probably in Season 7 or Season 8. I think Season 7. Now next up we're moving on to the row of Blackfire racers. Of course I already showed the planes of these. Now it's time for the racers. Starting off with Robin Tailstrider. Also me, kinda. I'm not sure if I count him completely as me. He is representing me in the Cars universe. I call them Blackfire cars because they're black with fire. It's not not fire that's black, but it's black and fire. They all based off the car my profile picture, the Lamborghini Countach channel after that picture. And yeah, I'm not gonna be replacing my avatar, so yeah, maybe I'll eventually, after the big custom airplane project is done that I'm working on. Yeah, I'm repainting one of my 2 cabbies into a Blackfire big airplane. But that one is not here right now. Yeah, this is pretty cool. It's all kind of fire idea. It's one of my favorite customs. Not my best one, but pretty good. Definitely one of my favorites. Next up we have, what was his name again? Trevor Rimrunner. A whole bunch of these cars didn't have names before, and I got the names from Instagram, where I asked people like, what kind of name should I give these? This was suggested to me by, I don't know who suggested this, but Trevor Rimrunner. And yeah, he's pretty good, this Ferrari, and made. Next up is Oscar Huffman, also repainted from a YouTuber. This used to be Chase World of Cars. Name was actually suggested to me by Radiated Springs Network. And because he lives in Germany, I wanted to have this guy like a German backstory or something. He's kind of German. He's a rival of Max Schnell. That's something, sure. Next up we have Lincoln torpedo line shaft. The torpedo part is kind of like the inside from right inside Laney. Quote. Yeah, he's like a piston carburation. I gave him the same kind of design as the next gen me, just a bit less. Yeah, he is. The idea behind him is like he doesn't race in a piston cup like this, but he does. He is a former piston cup racer who now has like is part of the Blackfire group. But you'll see that in the movies whenever those come out. I need 2 more customs, and also need cars for those customs, and I can start filming the first out of the trilogy. So yeah. The next up is one of my most recent custom. Like, it wasn't with the last batch I made, not with the second to last, but the one before that. 2 customs. The other plane I don't have here. This guy, this is Gabe Flashy Davison, kind of like the torpedo from Lincoln there. Made this from a Thailand Rip Kliskansky. One of the few cars who I didn't use primer for, as I mentioned. I used this one for a school project because we had to write something about something we made at home, because yeah, we had to stay home, so we needed to make something at home and write a thing about it. So I made about a bunch of customs that I made, and this was one of them. Here's a pretty cool car, number 15, because that is how old I was when I painted him. Of course, since then it has been my birthday, and now I'm 16. Moving on to another one of my most recent customs, also one which I consider one of my best customs yet. Fernando Alonso. Back in around Christmas, somebody on the Dutch Facebook group for cars collectors was doing a giveaway of a professional custom Fernando Alonso. Of course, this is not really professional, this is hand painted. I didn't win, and I wanted to have a Fernando Alonso custom at some point, so I decided to make one myself. This is the Miguel Camino I got for my birthday from my friend. He's definitely one of my best custom, especially with all those lines detailing. I even did the dark blue parts here. And the tail lights. Yeah, he looks really good. The black spoiler, of course, and the lightning things on his hood are not as good as like on a professional custom. And I didn't want to use tape things to make it better, but maybe I'll make it better in the future when I'm better at painting. Yeah, he's really cool. Maybe I'll use him like next year in like the second season of Dice Racing. Who knows? And then next up we have a Formula 1 car. This one has yet to be named. At the time of me recording this, I'm still in my week without Wi-Fi challenge. But as soon as I have Wi-Fi, which is tomorrow, I'm recording this on Monday, and so tomorrow I'm gonna ask a bunch of people for name suggestions, and then I'm gonna give him a name. And yeah, he's a pretty cool car, made from the Francesco my friend gave me for my birthday. Really interesting colors, like on one of the color schemes that I don't really use much. It's like another color scheme for a later car, which I'll show. Next up, we have one of my very first custom, Max Verstappen, the Dutch Formula 1 car. As you can see, it has Red Bull logos, kind of. Of course, not as dark of a blue as the real one. He's really cool. He's one of the very first customs, and for a very first custom, he doesn't look too bad. Not that great either, but he looks pretty good, I think. And then next up, another custom which I don't think I've shown before. This is Oliver Drive Gear. First of all, his name was going to be the name for the Army Next Gen. Then I kind of forgot it was Oliver Drive Gear, and I mixed it up with Oliver Light Load Hauler. And then I found out that that was the name of the hauler. And then, so I asked people on Instagram for a new name, which you'll hear when I get that to the car. And then I found out that I originally wanted to call him Oliver Drive Gear. So yeah, then I decided why not call this guy Oliver Drive Gear. The design for this car actually was an idea from my dad. I asked him if he wanted to give this car a design. And yeah, I really like how it turned out. One of my favorite customs. He doesn't have too many decals, but that makes him one of my favorite customs, since he's kind of clear. He just has a number 75. And yeah, a black hood and the black doors, which makes him look pretty good. And apparently I did not give the tail lights red. Well, just add him to the list of cars that need tail lights then, I guess. But yeah, he's one of my favorite customs. As I said, I'm gonna have to update him soon together with the Police Mcqueen and Radio Springs Network. The next up are two cars that I made at the same time. Also at the same time as I made Shane there. And you can also, when you see them, you can tell that I made them at the same time. These are James Racing Tire and Bruce Engine Runner. Rusty's Racers, they are the Rusty's Racers before Mcqueen comes. James Racing Tire was the Rusty's Racer when the King joined racing, back in the original Cars series. And Bruce Engine Runner, yeah, replaced James and was later replaced by Lightning. I know the Rusty's only entered racing when Lightning came to the Piston Cup. But yeah, in my story they did before that, so. James Racing Tire I used in the original Cars series. And he also appeared he was mentioned in Season 2 and maybe Season 3 of Cars Universe. He appeared in Season 4. With an episode dedicated to the Ford Lost chasing him. Yeah, I didn't pay contingency sponsors on these guys since I wasn't really that much of a customer. I hadn't made many customs back then. Yeah, they look alright, I think. And yeah, James Race and Bruce Engine Runner. I was planning on using him in my original car series, but of course that series only ended up being 7 episodes long. So I never got to the point where he would replace James. I am planning on making a movie out of I believe second half of Season 1. I already made a movie about the first half of Season 2, that is Cars and Threatless. And the second half of Season 1, which was going to be about Chick Hicks. I'm thinking, and he would also be appearing in there, and so I'm probably going to put it in there. He did appear in Cars Team Threatless though, like racing in the backgrounds. So yeah, those are pretty interesting customs. Maybe I'll update him eventually. Next up are two next-gen customs. First is this guy, Saul Tire Stack. He's kind of like a next-gen who is an army car who races. He wants to kind of promote to get more people to the army, to join the army. That's why he doesn't have contingency sponsors, since he's racing for the army, and the army is from the government, so yeah, he doesn't really need contingency sponsors. Was this contingency sponsors like sponsors of the Piston Cup? In that case, he might need to get some at some point, but yeah, I didn't want to do a sponsor on him because I like him how he is. One of my favorite customs, and you wouldn't think this, but he's actually, at least that's gonna be what about him in the story. He's actually a trained soldier. He's not just a racer who has army colors. But he's actually trained. He can fight, which you'll see in the future season of the Cars Universe series. And the next up is the other car with paper decals. This is Danny the Nitro, second Danny on Racetrack, and yeah, Danny the Nitro is inspired by Danny DeVito. That was actually a name suggested to me by Shane, this guy, and of course the real Shane. So he suggested Danny the Nitro. Then next up we have 3 graveyard cars. We have the first graveyard car is this one, made from a Winford Bradford Rutherford. As you can see, when I got him in the thrift store, he was missing a part of the spoiler there. And yeah, so I decided to use him as a graveyard car. Well, for some reason when I make graveyard cars, I put the string on them. I know that T-Torvius Ty had string on some of his graveyard cars to represent vines, and these aren't really vines, but I think they add kind of to the effect of that it's a... Yeah, it's a dead car. He's not alive anymore. And the funny thing is, I was trying to remove this tire, and while we were trying to remove that, then this tire popped off. So I decided to leave this tire the way it was, like dent. And yeah, this tire that went off, I believe I still have it somewhere. Yeah, I think I still have the tire somewhere, but not right here. And I'm gonna have to fix this piece of string soon. Next graveyard car, made from a Holly shift well. As you can see, this is the most damaged one. Missing the front piece. I still have the mouth plate somewhere. Recently tried to put it on my Holly shift well with wings, but didn't work out since Holly shift well with wings is a unique car. It has screws underneath. Unlike any other cars, all of them have like rivet things. I actually removed this with the front together with one of my best friends, because we tried to fix the Holly shift with wings before. Now I tried it myself again. Yeah, the thing that adds to really the graveyard car effect of this one is the gray and this green part here, that kind of a bit more damaged old. This Holly shift I did use in a video before I made a graveyard car of it. I used it in Car Spies, I believe. Also, if you didn't know, the idea for the graveyard car it was inspired by T-Torvius Ty, as are many things on my channel. Only thing that makes me different from him is that I don't really do do reviews or anything like that. But another graveyard car which I finished today, I painted it together with the Fernando Alonso and a couple other cars that I made recently. Car and plane. And I finished it today because today was when I finished putting the string on. This is a graveyard car made from a Raoul Saru. And if you compare it to the other graveyard cars, way more string. Yeah, this is how this one looks underneath, and this one looks like this. I think when I grabbed the string which I was going to use for this one, I grabbed the longest one I own, because I have a whole bunch of string, and I put it around this, and I kept going and I kept going. Makes it really interesting. But yeah, besides that, not really much to say about him. He is the least damaged one though. He's not missing any tires, although the back tires kind of go up into the body of the car